Live on DAZN Worldwide, April 26th, Eubank Jr. versus Benn. 30 years of rivalry and hatred.
I do hate him.
All comes down to this. The next generation, a new destroyer. For family, history, legacy. Eubank Jr. versus Benn, April 26th. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
Oscar Bevis for the Stomping Ground, powered by Wow Hydrate and available on the Zone. Chris Eubank Jr. misses weight.
Yeah.
Your reaction?
Yeah, very disappointing. Obviously unprofessional. You know, I mean, I know the narrative now. He puts out the videos of what he was doing to make. It's his championship weight. He made the weight a few months ago in Saudi. He made the weight in the fight before that. He made the weight in the fight before that. It's his own championship weight, and he missed weight. So that's disappointing. Unprofessional, but you know, people say, "Oh, it was only half an ounce." So it doesn't matter if it's half an ounce or a pound; it's still missed weight. So I did think he'd make it, but it doesn't really matter, if I'm honest. You know, I mean, if someone misses the weight significantly, you'd start to have a worry in terms of that advantage fighting Conor, Benn. You know, but it is what it is, and on we go.
I know you mentioned that video, and we've seen it, and people will look and go, "Oh, I feel a bit sorry for Chris," and you know that's not my decision
Oscar,
to make.
That's the idea of the video.
But from that video, the last couple of hours of that weight making would have probably taken a bit out of him in terms of tomorrow night.
That's how fighters make weight, mate. I mean, unless you're completely clueless and you're not around the fight game, that's how fighters make weight. It's tough for everybody. Yes, Conor Benn is coming up 2 divisions, so he didn't have to make weight like that. Every fighter who is on the championship weight, every fighter on this card goes through a very tough process on the week of a fight to make it. Now, if you want these guys to document every time and show you how tough it is and get a little bit of sympathy when you miss weight, that's a nice narrative and it's very clever. I don't fucking fall for that. All week you're talking about how disciplined you are, or how professional you are. No, you're not, because you just missed your own championship weight. That's the reality. Say what you want, couldn't give a monkeys. That's the truth. So you wanna gloat over what you did, but you missed weight. Do you know what I mean? Is he going to make a statement to say, just want to apologise for missing championship weight? No, of course he's not. He's going to tell you how tough it was and how he went. You know, it's bollocks. It's all bollocks. The fact is, he missed weight. So what? Loads of people miss weight, but the geezer missed weight who said he's ultra disciplined, that said he's ultra professional, and it was expensive.
I spoke to a couple of people downstairs who were present, and they said that he wanted the weigh-in to be earlier, and then he turned up late, and he was quite lackadaisical
That's
about
what we're talking about.
after the first weigh-in. And
basically, the whole thing, they don't. You know, you've got to have the right people around you. He asked for the weigh-in. The team asked for the weigh-in to be earlier last night. Then, all of a sudden, today, the weigh-in's at 11. It's always been set by the British Boxing Board of Control. They said, we're not changing the weigh-in. All fighters are weighing in at 11. Then he turned up at midday. And when you turn up late, you don't get the extra time to make the weight, because that's the time of the weigh-in. So if he would have turned up at 11, he would have had that time to make the weight, an hour. He could have gone off, he could have gone for a stroll, whatever he's going to do, and it would have come off. It was small amounts. But what he did was, he went into the room, he weighed, he was 2 ounces over. He took his pants, you know, then you take your pants off, right? Because it's going to be somewhere between an ounce to 2 ounces, right? But he wanted a towel, but he wasn't happy with the size of the towel. So the team went off to get a towel and took about 10 minutes while he sat there on his phone. And then came back, took his pants off, and he was 1 ounce over. Then he stood there for about another 5 minutes, and the board said, you got like 6 or 7 minutes. So then he put his tracksuit back on, went for a little walk around, but then had to come back almost immediately, got on the scales, and he lost another half an ounce. But he could have made the weight, I mean, not easy, because we know it's tough, but listen, some people who want to create their own narrative will say, oh, it's all right for you, Eddie, you're just a promoter. I'm just telling you the facts. He missed his own championship weight. That's it. And by the way, people do it. But unfortunately, in this case, it was pretty embarrassing and it was very expensive.
just to clear up, can he rehydrate to 170 or 170.005?
170.
Okay. Can we talk about Frank Smith and Mazar Majid?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's tempers are very high right now, to be honest. Like, it means a lot to everybody. And whenever you're in a mega fight, people sometimes, the head falls off a little bit. I was winding Frank up because I was like, well, Frank, look, you're offering people out. It's unlike you. Do you know what I mean? But look, we operate in a certain way at Matchroom, you know, and we're pretty calm, but also we're quite passionate as well. So, yeah, there was a lot of, they didn't want any cameras in the room.
Was that his main source of what he was unhappy about?
Yeah, pretty much. But, well, there was another issue with the gloves. They weren't happy with the gloves, and it was like the board said the gloves are absolutely fine. And once the board do that, it's fine. You don't have a leg to stand on. So they were moaning about the gloves. They didn't like the gloves. It was like excuse after excuse. Then it was like, oh, no cameras in the room. It's like, well, hang on a minute. Every fighter's had the cameras in the room. Plus, it's the Ring magazine. You know, they want to cut. No. And so, yeah, look, it is what it is. It doesn't really matter. Everyone was running around, losing their heads, and he didn't make it. So
Frank was backing himself. He was like, you keep telling me to fuck off and then turning your back.
But he did. He kept going, was it prick? And then going off. It's like, that's the most annoying thing. You just want someone to stick it on you. And he was like, prick, and running off. It's like...
Maybe he's overstepped the line, pardon the pun. Finally, Conor Benn has earned well out of this situation. Chris Eubank spent 475 grand before the first bell, is it? Now with the 100 grand fine and this in English pounds. Is it 475?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Luckily we didn't have the bet, really. Otherwise he would have been fighting for nothing.
Well, what's the latest with the bet?
Nothing.
Could he end up losing over $1 million?
Because Robert Smith, you know, there's a very strict rule. Any licence holder cannot bet on a fight. Okay. I can't, like, and I people go, like, that's the truth of the situation. Don't you remember when I had Jake Paul offered me $1 million bet, right, for Taylor Serrano? Do you remember that at the press conference?
Yeah.
And I shook his hand. I've never accepted this bet, by the way. I shook Jake Paul's hand. And then the commission said the promoters can't bet on the fight. But I never screamed and moaned about it. In fact, could have gone, Jake, where's my $1 million? But we didn't get the bet because the commission said no, same as this commission. So it's just a story for them. It's just the whole thing. This is why I got Frank Smith on the stage yesterday, because he's got all his notes on his phone, Eubank, about what to say. Do you know what I mean?
And you put a different man in the position.
You just take the script away from him, that's all. He still does the same thing, but he's like, you know, I mean, he should have really focused less on the bet and more on actually making weight. Do you know what I mean? And you know, he would have made it easy, but it's those little percentages in the game about being professional, and he's obviously cut a corner somewhere.
Just finally, how is the 156-pound Conor Benn feeling?
Feeling unbelievable, to be honest with you. Yeah,
I mean, just like swanning around.
Yeah, he trained this
enjoying
morning.
the moment.
By the way, like, if you look at him, there ain't an ounce of fat on him. I mean, he's 6% body fat or something like that. He's absolutely in the shape of his life. He trained this morning, so, you know, but he didn't want to come in heavy. Do you know? He doesn't want to feel like, oh, I'm eating my way up to 160. He wants to be razor sharp. He will be 162 pounds in the ring, and Eubank will be 176. We'll be giving up a stone in the ring tomorrow night. It's a huge amount of weight to give away. Will anyone feel sorry for us? No. But it is what it is. Let's have it.
Live on DAZN Worldwide, April 26th, Eubank Jr. versus Benn. 30 years of rivalry and hatred. All comes down to this. The next generation, a new destroyer. For family, history, legacy. Eubank Jr. versus Benn, April 26th. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.